parents, and junior college student participants to this webinar. Today's lecture will be on life sciences, a window to the wonderful world of science, and is the first webinar of this academic year organized by the Department of Life Sciences, KC College, HSNC University, Mumbai. This session is also being live streamed on YouTube. Before we begin, I request all participants to put their audios on mute and videos off to avoid disturbances. There will be a question and answer session at the end of this lecture, so if you have any queries or questions, please put it in the chat box. Thank you. Today's webinar will provide a detailed insight of a student's journey in the field of life sciences. And as a life sciences student myself, I can vouch that it is a wonderful journey to embark. So do listen attentively to this lecture and be an active part of the learning experiences. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Sagarika Damre, Head of the Department of Life Sciences, to share a few words and welcome our gathering.
Thank you, Kelly. On behalf of HSNC University, Mumbai, Kishan Chelaram College and Department of Life Sciences, I extend a very warm welcome to one and all present here for today's webinar. At KC College and Department of Life Sciences, it's our great pleasure to hold this webinar as our first event of this academic year. Life sciences as an umbrella to the world of biological sciences is not so known to all the students, especially to junior college. As our old school of thought, we always think about botany, zoology, and other biological sciences as basic sciences which are studied at BSc level. So therefore, we thought this was a wonderful opportunity since the 12th standard results are just out. It would be a great opportunity to all of you to learn a little bit more about life sciences. And therefore, we have our very own PhD scholar today, Mr. Romil Dhaga, who will be elucidating about this wonderful field of biological science to you all. To begin with this talk, I want to thank, of course, the resource person and all those who are involved in organizing in this event. But I also want to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Hemlata Bagla, who is also the principal of our college, for always supporting us in all of our endeavors. Without much ado, I invite Dr. Tejashree Shanbag, Vice Principal, Sciences, Degree College, to give her word of encouragement to all of us. Thank you.
Everyone, I hope you are audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, and thank you, Sagarika madam. I won't take much of your time. To students, remember that the session that you are going to listen to now is an important session. So please make most of it. Romil will take you through the roadmap, which will clear your minds as to what you want to do in your future. So I think you should make, you all should make most of this particular session, and do not leave any doubt in your mind. So by the end of the session, see that you keep asking questions. I think it's only at the end of the session that you have a Q&A where you can ask questions and make your minds clear as to what you're going to do for your future. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, teachers, for your wise and encouraging words. Before we start with today's session, I request Nirmiti Thakur to introduce our distinguished resource person.
Good evening to one and all. It is my honor to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Romil Dhaga. He is an alumni student and has completed his bachelor's in life sciences and biochemistry from KC College and master's in life sciences from Department for Life Sciences, University of Mumbai. Sir has been a recipient of a summer research fellowship program organized by Indian Academy of Sciences and the National Academy of Sciences. His research interest lies in marine science, pharmacology, and environmental science. He has 6 research papers in national and international journals published under his name and submitted 2 gene sequences to National Center for Biotechnology Information, USA. His noteworthy research was on jellyfish barcoding, wherein he discovered an edible species of jellyfish in Mumbai using DNA sequencing method. Sohra has also worked as a technical consultant for major pharmaceutical and food processing companies pan-India. And currently, he's pursuing his PhD under Dr. Tejasri Shanbag from Department of Life Sciences, KC College, HSNC University. With this brief introduction, I would request Sir to begin with this session.
Thank you for your kind introduction. A very warm welcome to all the parents, students, and the faculty members of Life Science Department. Let me know if I'm audible.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
you
sir,
are.
You are.
I'll start sharing the screen. Once again, a very warm welcome to all the students and parents to this wonderful session on life sciences, a window to the wonderful world of life. Today, when most of the students are in their juncture of getting into a professional career and getting themselves educated towards that path, this is a very hidden or not so talked about field of sciences. Apart from majorly what we have is doctor or engineers. So today I'll be touching upon the life sciences and the different fields or topics that we cover in life sciences. So let's go to the outline of my talk. We study what is the journey after 12, the different avenues or the paths that one can take to follow a proper professional education and get into a proper career. We'll see what is life sciences and what are the scopes in life sciences after their education. And last, we'll see which are the different colleges in Mumbai which are offering life sciences as a subject in their bachelor and master courses. So let's begin. As we all know, after completing your 12th in sciences, you majorly have a doubt that which subject to take, which field to choose, and how to go about with your career. And then you start asking, or then you start searching about all the courses that are available, or then you talk to your relatives and friends, and then there is a different confusion that is created in your mind. And majorly there is a two-way biasness of the society. Some relative will come and say, अरे शर्मा जी के बेटे ने तो इंजीनियरिंग किया है, आपका बेटे को भी इंजीनियरिंग करना चाहिए, या तो हमारे कॉलेज में तो बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स निकले हैं, डॉक्टर्स का डिमांड बहुत ज्यादा है, डॉक्टर बना लो. And then you go forward for preparing your NEET or your JEE mains and go with your not so ambitions of becoming a doctor or your engineer. Okay. No problem with that if you are very much interested in those particular subjects. But then are those only two options that are there after 12th? No. Say suppose someone gives a NEET exam after 12th, and after clearing your NEET exam, what you end up is doing your bachelor course in Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, that is MBBS. That is for almost 4.5 years. After which you complete your 1-year internship, and then you can go off to work. But nowadays, everyone demands a master degree or a complete master education. So after that, you would go for a 2 years Master of Surgery degree, and then go for work. If at all you all are interested, or if at all someone is interested in doing research in medicine, then they can of course pursue a PhD after MS. And this would take anywhere between 5 to 8 years. And the second route would be if you complete your JEE exam after your 12th, you end up into some good engineering college, which will fetch you Bachelor of Technology degree in any of the subjects which you choose after 4 years. Now again, the industry demands a master's or a complete master's education. So you go forward with 2 years of MTech degree in your respective subjects, and then you go for work. And if at all you are interested in research, then you'll end up into getting PhD after, say, basically between 3 to 5 years. So you see, the horizon of time is much longer. Anywhere between 8 to 12 years, you will be going forward in your professional education, right? And this education will ultimately decide your career. But then what about if someone who is not interested in physics or not interested in getting a professional doctor career, but he or she is very much well connected with the environment, with the nature, and is very much interested in studying the biology, in studying the nature of and principles of how a life sustains on earth, how it evolves. So what does he or she do? He may take up a science degree, a bachelor's degree in sciences, that is Bachelor of Science degree in any of the biological streams that we'll look forward today. Then they can go forward with Master of Sciences, that is a specialization in any of the different courses that are available. And then they can land up in any of the industrial career, or if they are at all interested, they can go for PhD research, and then they can go for institutional research that will look forward. So we are standing at a juncture when we know that we need to go for something in biology. I love biology, but then what subject to choose? Okay, how to satisfy your curiosity in biology. So let's start understanding how life evolves or how life formed on Earth. So as the theory says, there is a Big Bang and the molecule. There is a formation of different molecules. These molecules come together and they forms a macromolecules. And these macromolecules are in the form of carbohydrates, proteins, say fatty acids, vitamins, and all these macromolecules are basically studied under biochemistry. So now these different macromolecules started interacting with each other. They came close, they started interacting, they started forming complex polymers, and we study all this under molecular biology. Now these interactions became so intense that they started to care for each other, they started to protect each other, they started to replicate, and they started to form a wall around each other so as to sustain itself from the environment. And there came and there formed a very primitive type of living being, and the cell structure, the cellular structure that they formed, we study under cell biology. And then this cell started slowly evolving, and there it formed a different type, variety of species that we study under evolution. Now, during the course of evolution, there were many small organisms, the prokaryotic organisms, which were self-capable or self-independent of their survival under different extreme conditions, and we study them under microbiology. Then the course of evolution took place, and then we have a parallel species evolving, one in the form of plants and another in the form of animals. And that we study basically in the subjects called botany and zoology. And at last, we have the interactions of all these biotic, abiotic factors. We have the plants, we have the animals, we have the microbes, we have the abiotic conditions, the soil, the temperature, the rays, all this interacting, and we study them under environmental sciences. Yes, but then we have made these bifurcations for our simplicity to understand each of them in detail and in isolation. But does nature exist in isolation? No. Nature is always interconnected. It's a unison. So the scientists and the researchers, when they started to study more in detail about each of these different fields, they found a deep urge to understand the interdisciplinary approach of each of this field. And then there emerged in unison all the life scientists and the researchers understood that there is a need for coming up and bringing together all the fields of sciences into one umbrella called life sciences. And life sciences doesn't end up only in these traditional subjects. As you can see, our ancestors were very much engrossed in understanding the environments and understanding the nature. They used to worship fire, they used to worship air. That all comes under environmental science. Then you go reverse, then they started studying about the animals, then they started studying about the plants. Now with the use of these high-tech instruments that are coming up, we have started to study more of the cellular microorganisms. And with the development of more advanced techniques, we are able to study the interactions of each and every molecules. So the learning happens in the anti-clockwise, but the evolution happened in the clockwise. But then these are the only subjects that we have in life sciences, or the nature operates in only these subjects? No. We have more to come under study. So which are the different topics which are addition to the above mentioned different topics? These are genetics. That we study different genes, their interactions with the environment, their interactions amongst themselves, the on-ing and offing of genes, the different byproducts that are formed due to different combination of genes. That all is studied under genetics. And how these genes are hereditary in structure and how they pass on their knowledge or their information to the next generation. Then we have the study of immunology, where we see how an individual organism thrives or is able to survive on its own against different invaders that we call pathogens. How the body makes up its defense mechanism, that we study under immunology. We have developmental biology, wherein we have a simple cell, that is zygote, which is becoming a huge complex organism. How this systematic growth of all the cells, all the migration of the cells happens, that we study under developmental biology. Then we have the neurobiology, how a mind or how the neuron is able to sense the external environment, how a neuron is able to sense the stress, how a small neuron is able to pass on the different conscious and subconscious decision to the next generation. It all comes under neurobiology. Then when we as a social animal live together, we try to study the population as a whole. And we try to make a mathematical models so as to improve the quality and the survival rate of the population. And this all comes under biostatistics. Nowadays, in the age of computer, we have all the information which are there stored in the computers. The data is already there. The use of this data to come up with computational models, to come up with different molecules, to come up with different products, which changes the entire structure of an organism, the entire functional entity of a particular system, is all studied under bioinformatics. Then when we study about biophysics, it's not just that the physics, that the biology and physics is a separate entity. No, not at all. But when we study the physical aspects of the particular molecules, the entire theory changes, because molecule as a whole entity are very small, very tiny, and they exhibit a different level of energy altogether. And their interactions are majorly covered under biophysics. We have pharmacology, the effect of different structures and different molecules, or say suppose different chemicals on our body. And at what rate the molecules interact in our body, at what rate the molecules are absorbed in our body. All these are covered under pharmacology. Then we have the instrumentation. With the development or with the increase in our knowledge, we are more and more curious to understand the each and every mechanics of each and every system and each and every processes. And to understand these processes, we need to develop the instrumentation to track or to monitor each and every step. And with this came the rise of the instrumentation, which are particularly used in understanding the biological processes at a molecular level, at a cellular level, or at a microscopic level. And these are not the only subjects that we have. We have marine biology, we have environmental sciences, we have animal physiology, and we have lot other subjects to cover under life sciences. So just make one thing in mind, that life sciences is the study of life as a whole. But then we need to study each and every aspect of how different things interact with our organism, with our cell, and how the survival is existing. So these are not only theoretical aspects that we look upon. We also have different hands-on experiments that will make us understand and skillful about how an organism sustains itself. On the first picture, we have the picture of a fungus, a multicellular organism. Then we have the dissection of chick brain. We have the study of the limb development in the chick embryo. And you can see on the right hand side, we have the TS of stem. Now all this use different aspects of life sciences to study each and every developmental stage of the process. But again, can we only restrict ourselves to the labs or only to the books? No. As a life scientist, we also have our on-field experiences. We are very much in close connect with the nature and the happenings of the nature. So we have the excursion, a regular excursion, which are being organized by the department. On the left hand side, you can see the Saguna Park. We have the images of the pagoda ant, we have the killer ants, we have the centipedes. And on the right hand side, you can see the image of Tadoba National Park. wherein this image was taken by one of the faculty member of the life sciences. This was a live tiger that we have observed in the natural habitat. So now it's everything about the education that we have completed, but then what about the scope? What about after, if the afterlife, or how do we mold our career with all the education that we take place in our institutes? So we go through the scope of life sciences one by one. The very first one and the most beloved one is the scope of life scientist in government institutes. Okay. So you can be one of the civil servant, wherein you can be the advisor to Government of India, that is UI. You can be the policy makers who actually in turn make the policies of different natural resources of the country. And then you can be the officers, that is, you can be one of the forest officers, you can be one of the environmental officers, you can be one of the conservational officer. And all this position requires a life scientist person. Then you have the governing bodies, which require the basic education of life sciences in their bachelor's and master courses. We have the FSSI in New Delhi. We have the National Chemical Laboratories, that is in Pune. We have the Central Pollution Control Board in New Delhi, and there are much more. We also have government research organizations. To name a few, we have many more, many in Mumbai itself. One of it is NIRRH, that is National Institute for Research in Reproductive and Child Health, Mumbai. We have Central Institute of Fishery Education, Mumbai. And we have the Indian Institute of Toxicology Research, Lucknow. These are just a few examples of where you can land up after completing your education in life science, if you want to be in government sectors. Apart from government, we have your role in industry, wherein you can pursue your corporate or industrial research. And we have the pharmaceuticals, we have the food industry, we have the drugs, we have the cosmetic industry, we have nutraceutical industry. You just name it and we have it. And all this industry requires the life science person so as to complete the research or research cycle of their molecules or of their entities. Then you can have your career in corporate. In corporate, you can go into management position, you can go into sales or marketing position, because nowadays everyone requires a specialist or the subject specialist of the particular molecules or particular entities that they are marketing or that they are manufacturing. So there is a very deep scope in this. After completing your bachelor in life sciences, you can go on to complete your MBAs, and then you can land up in any of the management and sales and marketing sectors. Also, import and export is one of the important sectors that has been growing up. India is one of the major exporter of pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical goods. And most of the people, after completing their masters in sciences, land up into industrial corporate jobs. Similarly, we have consultancy projects and the latest or the upcoming field, that is science communication. In science communication, you have, depending upon your skill sets, you can be one of the content creator, you can be manuscript writer, you can be a proofreader, you can be an editor, and much more. So it's all about developing the right skill set, having the right interest, and developing your interest in the particular field. Going forward, if in the manufacturing sector of the industry, you can go forward to pursue your career in the procurement department, where we have the companies like Baidyanath and Merck, and in the production, where we have companies like Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, Procter & Gamble, etc. Apart from the government and institutional careers, you can develop yourself as a professional and become an entrepreneur. We have two such examples. That is Dr. Kiran Majumdar Shaw. She is the director of Biocon, who is the Biocon is the largest producer of insulin in the world. And then we have Dr. Aerokya Swami Velumani. He is the director of Thyrocare, which is one of the largest diagnostic franchisee of India. You can become a professional lawyer, and we have two such institutes or two such companies, that is Gopal Nair Associate and Krishna and Saraswati Associates LLP. As a lawyer, what you are liable to give an informed decision about the patenting stuff, the intellectual property rights, the copyrights of individual molecules, of the processes, and of the different cellular organisms, or at the genetic level, the gene sequences. These are all defended and protected by law, which are very much in demand in the life sciences field. The third one is you can make up your career in clinical research, wherein the molecules which have been developed as a drug are passed on to different clinical trials. And these clinical trials need a special subject expertise of the molecule in the field of life sciences, wherein the person is expected to have the knowledge of the molecule, of its interaction to the environment, of its interaction with the animals, of its interaction with the humans, and how all these effects take place are studied by a life science person. And two of the major examples is Piramal Pharmaceuticals and Reliance Life Sciences, which are very much into clinical research. Then we have the rise of data sciences, wherein we have a lot of data that is being generated by the scientists, by the corporates, by the industries, related to the human response to different environments, different drug molecules, or the environmental water resource or the environmental air resource monitoring systems. And all this data is been compiled and is been monitored by different IT sector companies. So you can make up your career in data sciences and land up into companies like TCS, Accenture, and etc. They have a separate wing for life science person, which you can explore. Apart from this, you can make your way into NGOs and help into the conservation and biodiversity activities. And to name a few, we have the Bombay Natural History Society, that is BNHS, and we also have Vanashakti, who is actively working in the Mumbai environmental concerns. And lastly, you can make up your career in academics. In academic, you can make up your career as a researcher, and you can land up into various hospitals which are into the molecule research, into collaboration with the clinical research counterparts. So you can land up into Hinduja or KEM, etc. We have different research institutes, which are TIFR, BARC, Reliance, etc., which are all the academic research institutes, and they have been in around Mumbai for more than 50-60 years. We have big research institutes or universities, which are Mumbai University, the HNC University, the Homi Bhabha University, etc., where you can conduct your academic research. Then you can pursue your career in teaching in different universities, in different colleges and schools. Also, you can be the educator in private institutes, in private sectors. And also, the online content creators for different education systems. For example, the rise of Vedantu, the rise of Byju's all require the subject matter expertise of the particular subjects. So these are some of the list of alumni from our department which have landed up into their professional careers. You can see the Akshay Kavle, he is the marketing head at Glenmark Pharmaceuticals. You can see Swapna Vyas, she is a principal scientist of gene editing in Cambridge. You can see Jarna Sharma, she is working with Flywheel Strategy, Toronto, Canada. You can see Harshisha, who is a professional nutritionalist. So all these careers are well established after you pursue your bachelor's in life sciences. We also have entrepreneurs like Sumit Kabra, who is the founder of Novel for You. We have one of the alumni, that is Chandan Das, who has formed the hydroponic system under the name of Greenband Fresh. And we have many more entrepreneurs from our department. This is a list of few. So these are some of the colleges in Mumbai which are offering life sciences in their bachelor course. We have St. Xavier's College. We have Kishan Chelaram College, SNC University. We have Jai Hind College. We have Ramnarayan Ruya College. We have Sophia College, and we have Model College under University of Mumbai. We in Mumbai are almost surrounded by all the facilities in terms of the education, right from 10th to PhD. We have research centers. We have the various job opportunities in pharmaceutical, in pharmaceutics, in food, in management, career. So it's just upon you how you make upon it. At I being a proud alumni of KC College, we have life sciences right from bachelor's to master's to PhD, and we have also different certificate courses which develop your skill sets to make you and professional ready to enter into your professional career. And I would like to say one thing: always make your decision that prioritize your inner peace, because it's a very long journey. After your 12th, you almost take up your 6 to 8 years of education, and then you start off your professional career. So what is relevant today might be non-existent after 8 to 10 years. So think ahead of time and make a wise decision. At the end, I would like to acknowledge the Vice Chancellor, SNC University, and Principal of KC College, Dr. Hemlata Bagla, the Vice Principals of the KC College. Special thanks to Mr. Dilip Ramkiani, the Vice Principal of Junior College, and Mrs. Varsha Mahimkar, the Subject In Charge, Department of Biology, KC College. Also, the Head of Departments of Life Sciences and the faculty members of Life Sciences, and to all the parents, guardians, and the students who are connected today in this wonderful session. Thank you very much. You all can get in touch with any of us in the faculty through our email ID that has been mentioned here, and this is the WhatsApp number. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for providing a complete overview of life sciences as a career choice. I'm certain this lecture has been resourceful for all of our participants. Participants, kindly note that an invite link for a WhatsApp group will be posted in the chat box. All those who are interested in life sciences as a career can join the same to be in touch with us. We will now be proceeding to the question and answer session, requesting participants to post any questions that they have in the chat box.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, we are inviting questions from the participants. And I would also like to, of course, thank Romil for giving an overview. And I would also like to mention that we are starting soon with MSc course in the Life Science Department at KC College. I think we have one question in the chat box, and I would like the team to
Yes,
take
sir.
over for question answer.
Yes, I request Kanishka to kindly take over the question and answer session.
Good evening to one and all. So the first question for today is, can you share what kind of packages are offered?
Yeah. So that was a very straightforward question and a very relevant question. So nowadays, the packages are basically offered on what skill set of an individual have, okay, and in what industry he or she is landing. So anywhere between 7 lakhs per annum to 25 lakhs per annum, you can start off your career. And then depending upon your interest, your development and your growth towards the particular industry or towards the particular company, you can, the sky is the limit then.
Thank you, sir. The second question is, sir, what is the difference between biotechnology and life sciences?
So as we see that when we study about life sciences, we study about all the different aspects of how a life survives, how a life evolves, how a life reproduces and passes on to the next generation. When we talk about biotechnology, it is one of the applied component which helps to manipulate a particular cell or a particular organism to function, to carry out a desired function. Say for example, you have one of the normal living cell, which is living happily in the surrounding, but you want it to produce more of vitamin A for the betterment of human being, right? So what you do, you try to manipulate some of the genes, you try to induce some of the plasmids, which will help in increasing the production of the particular vitamin. So in the same way, it's basically the manipulation that you carry out at the microbial level or the micro level, that is an applied component of life sciences.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. So we have another question by Nabil Siddiqui asking, which course is most convenient?
Convenient in the sense, can you please elaborate the question, Naveen? See, you have already completed your 12th in sciences. You have learned physics, chemistry, and biology. In biology itself, you have covered zoology, botany, environmental sciences, and different aspects. Now you are going through different specialized subjects. You will be studying genetics, you will be studying immunology, you will be studying animal physiology, you will be studying biochemistry. So these are all the different aspects that cover life science as a whole. So if you love biology, you will definitely love life sciences. And it's all about the curiosity that you have to understand a particular form.
Yeah, they're asking in the aspect of looking forward to salaries and jobs in the future.
Okay. So right now the pharmaceutical industry is very much matured and is ready to boom in India. Okay. So going forward in the 10 years, pharmaceutical industry would be at the much larger scale. In the similar way, where the pharmaceutical industry started to develop in from 2005 2006, the same stage is right now being shown by the biopharmaceutical industry, wherein we have the production of molecules from the cells, the different gene manipulation stuff, the different environmental stuff, and all those are studied by a life science person. So going forward 10 years, you can see a lot of boom that has been taking place. If you visit any of the startup startup channels, or if you visit any of the startup ecosystem, you can see a lot of development being taking place in the life science sector, being in the healthcare sector, being in the food industry, being in the pharmaceutical sector, being in the diagnostic sector. All those are being developed. Now, these are still in the developing stage. So in the similar manner, you will be still in the developing stage, or you will be still in the learning process as you enter into bachelor course. But once you complete your bachelor course, and once the industry also get matures, there is a lot of scope. So there has to be a supply demand equation that is being filled that has to be filled, and this will be filled by students like you.
Thank you, sir. Another question by Sachin Parab. Which course in life science has the most scope in India in the further decade?
I would say all the fields have equal scope depending upon your curiosity and your interest in the particular subject. If you're very much curious and very much interested, and you have a deep dive and deep knowledge and the particular skill set, of course you will very much feel demand.
Thank you, sir. Question by Bhavya Jain. Which is the highest paying course in life science and convenient would grow in coming future?
Life science, I can just answer. If you are very much money oriented, what I would easily tell you is complete your life sciences bachelor's, go and complete your MBA, or land up into some foreign universities. The second stream would be to complete your life sciences bachelor's, master's, and PhD, and be an entrepreneur.
May I say something here with the permission of the host and the speaker?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'm Dr. Sagarika Damle. I'm the head of the Department of Life Sciences, and here I see a lot of questions which are kind of a overlap, and therefore I thought I would share my thoughts on that. Firstly, as everybody is asking about salaries and everybody is asking about jobs, right? So as rightly said by our resource person, that master's is a must nowadays, because in any of the basic sciences, if you just stop after graduation, your growth stops, and the salaries that are offered to you are also will not grow in that exponential manner. So first and foremost, you must decide and understand that a master's in life sciences. Now, what disciplines are we looking at for a better salary or better opportunities? I would definitely give a top up to bioinformatics. I think Romil just explained to you about bioinformatics, and bioinformatics is in silico designing of right from molecules, synthetic molecules, or the live molecules, and drug delivery, drug designing, all that comes under bioinformatics. So nowadays, even in Indian scenario, all the pharmaceutical companies and other companies, and if you go to the foreign establishments, their job opportunities, I would say bioinformatics would get the top ranking. And we have lots of our students, we are seeing a lot of shift from basic sciences to bioinformatics in case when they're opting for their postgraduate studies. That's number one. I think the second thing is nutritionist job or nutritionist profile. In nutritional biology also, there are a lot of opportunities, as there are specializations in sports nutrition, in geriatric nutrition, and there are many other subfields in nutrition which are also gaining much importance, because everybody wants very specific attention nowadays, and each of the individual is subdivided further on the basis of its needs and requirements. So that is another very lucrative, and if you are a nutritionist, I think you can also become an entrepreneur yourself. So these are the two fields I would say are right now much in demand. And third question, which was overlapping with these questions, was about foreign universities. Let me also share this with you, that almost, I think more than 50% of our students, they do opt for doing masters in foreign universities. So in that case, life sciences becomes a very, I think, useful and a multidisciplinary kind of a subject at BSc, because then as you can see that it has all kinds of biological sciences. So whenever you're applying for masters in foreign universities, may you apply for biochemistry, you can apply for bioinformatics, you can apply for nutrition and dietetics, you can apply for cell biology, cancer research, or you know, all those kind of allied sciences, pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, all that comes under life sciences. Biotechnology, as rightly said by our speaker today, that biotechnology also is biotechniques which are applied to basic sciences or basic life processes to get a better yield or to better or improve a quality of human life. So even if you do life science BSc, you can still do a master's in biotechnology in foreign universities. Not just foreign universities, but of course, across India, there are great research institutions which also take all the students who graduate from life sciences. So I think that kind of answers to some of these questions which were overlapping. So thank you so much. Over to you, host, and Romil sir.
If there are no further questions, ma'am, can we proceed?
I think there was a question about the life sciences in Pune. So I think you need to check websites of those particular colleges which are offering, because remember, I think life sciences is one subject offered as a 3-subject combination at BSc level. So you might have to go to individual websites of those colleges which you're interested in, like Garware or whichever colleges you want to join in Pune. We had kept this lecture with the scope of Mumbai colleges. So for Pune, you can, of course, as rightly said by the resource person, and we all are there from the Department of Life Sciences, you can come anytime to the department to get any further clarifications or any more counseling in this subject during the time that we are in college. So you are most welcome to come and meet us or write us an email. The email ID is already shared. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, sir, for answering all the questions. I would like to hand over to Kelly again.
Thank you, Kanishka, for conducting the Q&A session. I request all participants to kindly fill the feedback form that will be shared. The link will be provided in the chat box. To conclude today's lecture, I would like to request Nikhil Thadani to present the formal vote of thanks.
Kelly, there was just one more question I think I
Yes,
could see
ma'am.
in the chat box. Sir, if you can look at that question, because I think we had just one more in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am.
Something about industrial.
I'll read it out.
Yes,
If you want to do if you want to do an industrial pharmaceutical course, what course should we opt for, which would be high earning?
okay. So pharmaceutical sector in itself is a very high earning profile. And if you are very much interested in going into industrial pharmaceutics, so there are different avenues where you can go forward. The first one is in the management or the corporate sector, where you look upon the basic management of the pharmaceutics. The second is you look upon the manufacturing processes. And the third one is the sales distribution part. And the fourth one is the research. Okay. And to go forward with any of this part, you need to first complete your bachelor's in life sciences, any of the biological sciences. Second, you have to complete your master's, and then you need to complete one of the certificate course in industrial processes. So that will aid your master's degree or your master's education, and then you can start your career in any of the industrial pharmaceutical processes.
Thank you, sir, for answering the question. I would like to request Nikhil to take over with the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Kelly. Good evening to everyone present here. Tracy Kaufman once said, "Finding your passion is the key to your success." And I hope this session has taken you all a step closer towards finding your passion. On that note, on behalf of the Department of Life Sciences, KC College, it is my honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks for today. I would like to thank our resource person for the day, Mr. Romil Daga, for giving us an elaborate overview about life sciences as a subject, the laboratory and on-field experiences that are in store for the students, and for explaining in detail the scope that lies in the future for the students looking to take up life sciences. Further, I would like to thank HSNC University, KC College, for always providing us a platform where students can learn and develop extraordinarily. I also express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Hemlata Bagla, Vice Chancellor, HSNC University, and Principal, KC College, for always supporting and encouraging us in all our endeavors. I also extend my gratitude to our Vice Principals, Dr. Tejashi Shanbag, Dr. Shalini Sinha, Mr. Justin, and Mr. Samarjit Padi for always motivating and guiding us. I would like to thank Mr. Dilip Ramrakhiani, Vice Principal, Junior College, and Mrs. Varsha Mahimkar, Subject in Charge, Department of Biology, KC College, for helping us bring this session to life. I express my acknowledgement to Dr. Sagrika Damle, Head of Department of Life Sciences, KC College, for her constant efforts in bringing new innovative sessions so that we students can benefit out of it. With a deep sense of appreciation, I would like to extend my heartiest gratitude to the faculty members of the Department of Life Sciences, KC College, for their help and guidance. I would like to thank all the student volunteers of Avengers, the students' event management team of the Department of Life Sciences, who have worked hard and were helping throughout the session. I also express my gratitude to the tech team of KC College for making this session a great success. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for attending this session. Also, participants, please note a link for the feedback form has been posted in the chat box. We request you to fill it at the earliest. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, Nikhil. This is just a reminder. We have shared the link for the WhatsApp group as well as the feedback form. Please ensure that you fill the feedback form. And if you wish to stay in touch with us, please join the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Thank you all. We can keep the link on for some time so that students get a chance, and all the participants, it's a sincere request to you all to fill the feedback form so that we come to know what else we would want to include in our next session, because we want this to be an ongoing activity where students do come to know about this discipline of life sciences to make a better choice for their future careers. So thank you once again for the entire team, KCLSD, the Avengers, and all team members of the department. Thank you. Special thanks to Tech Team Owais from KC College. I think exactly at 5 o'clock, we can close the session. Thank you. We can end the session now. Thank you.